There are moments in life when something deep within us begins to stir. It's not just a passing thought, not just a fleeting feeling. It's a weight on your soul, a whisper in your spirit that refuses to be ignored. You wake up in the morning and it's there. You go through your day and it lingers. Even in the silence, even in the noise, you feel it. God is calling you. Some of you have felt it for weeks, months, maybe even years. It's that constant nudge in your heart, a voice that says, there's something more. You were made for something greater. You cannot stay where you are. And the more you try to shake it off, the stronger it grows. You distract yourself with work, entertainment, the things of this world, but nothing fills the emptiness. Nothing silences the call. And this is the first and clearest sign that God is calling you. A deep, unshakable stirring in your heart. It doesn't come from man, it doesn't come from ambition or personal desire. It comes from the Spirit of God. And when He speaks, when He places a calling upon your life, you cannot outrun it. You cannot ignore it. Because God's voice doesn't fade. It only grows louder. Some of you have been feeling this call, but you've been hesitant. You've been waiting for clarity, for confirmation, for a sign so undeniable that you can't question it. But listen, God is already speaking. That burden in your soul, that restlessness, that sense that you cannot stay where you are, that is the sign. That is God moving in your life. When God begins to call you, He places a longing in your spirit that nothing else can satisfy. The things that once excited you start to lose their meaning. The distractions that once consumed you suddenly feel empty. You start to see the world differently. You begin to hunger for something real, something eternal. That stirring isn't there by accident. It's not random. It's not just emotion. It's a divine invitation, and God is waiting for your response. But here's what you must understand. God will not force you. He will not drag you into His will. He will call you, He will stir your heart, but you must be the one to answer. You must take the step. You must surrender. And if you do, if you say yes, then everything changes. That stirring turns into direction. That longing turns into purpose. The call of God is not just an invitation. It is the beginning of a journey that will change your life forever. So I ask you today, what will you do with that stirring in your heart? Will you ignore it? Will you push it aside for another day? Or will you answer? Because one thing is certain, God is calling. The question is, will you listen? There are moments in life when doors open that you never expected. You weren't looking for them, you weren't knocking, and yet, there they are. An opportunity, a conversation, a divine appointment that seems almost too perfect to be coincidence. You wonder, why is this happening? Why now? But let me tell you, this is one of the clearest signs that God is calling you. When God begins to move in your life, He doesn't just stir your heart. He prepares the way. He sets things in motion long before you even realize what's happening. You may think you're going about your life as usual, but behind the scenes, God is arranging circumstances, aligning people, and orchestrating events to lead you into your calling. Think back on your life. How many times have you found yourself in situations that didn't make sense at the time, only to realize later that they were divine setups? You met the right person at the right time. A door opened when you least expected it. An opportunity came that you never even asked for. That wasn't luck. That wasn't chance. That was the hand of God. Some of you are standing before an open door right now, but you're hesitating. You're afraid to step forward because you don't feel ready. You're questioning, is this really from God? But let me tell you something. When God opens a door, no one can shut it. And when He is the one leading, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to trust. God doesn't call those who are already prepared. He prepares those He calls. He doesn't wait until you feel qualified. He qualifies you as you walk in obedience. If you keep waiting until you feel ready, you'll never move. But if you step forward in faith, you'll see that God has already gone before you. And here's the thing, you don't have to force it. If a door is from God, it won't require manipulation. You won't have to strive, push, or beg. The right doors will open naturally in His timing, and when they do, you'll know. But don't miss this. Just because God opens a door doesn't mean it will be easy. There will still be challenges. There will still be moments of doubt. But the difference is, when God is the one leading, He gives you the strength to walk through whatever lies ahead. Some of you have been praying for a sign, and God is saying, look around. The doors are already opening. The opportunities are already before you. Stop waiting for a bigger sign. Step forward in faith, because when God calls, He makes a way. The question is, will you walk through the door? When God calls you, don't expect the road to be easy. In fact, one of the clearest signs that He is calling you is that trials will come. Unexpected, difficult, sometimes overwhelming. You'll face resistance. You'll encounter setbacks. You'll walk through seasons of struggle that make you question everything. And in those moments, you might wonder, if God is calling me, why is this happening? But hear me, trials don't mean you're on the wrong path. Often they are proof that you're right where you're supposed to be. God never calls someone without preparing them, and that preparation often comes through challenges. Look at the lives of those whom God used in mighty ways. None of them had an easy journey. Joseph was betrayed and thrown into prison before he stepped into his destiny. David was hunted before he became king. Even Jesus faced the wilderness before He began His ministry. Why? Because trials refine us. They strip away our pride, our self-reliance, our comfort, until all that's left is our trust in God. Some of you are facing difficulties right now, and you're wondering if you misunderstood God's call. You thought following Him would mean open doors, clear direction, and immediate success. But instead, you've faced opposition, hardship, and moments where it feels like everything is falling apart. But listen, just because the road is hard doesn't mean God isn't leading you. Sometimes the struggle is part of the process. The enemy doesn't fight people who aren't a threat. He attacks those who are stepping into their God-given purpose. If you've felt more pressure, more resistance, more spiritual attacks since you started following God's call, it's because the enemy sees what God is doing in you. He knows that if you step fully into your calling, lives will be changed, strongholds will be broken, and the kingdom of darkness will suffer loss. But here's the good news. If God has called you, nothing can stop His plan. Not hardship, not opposition, not even your own doubts. What the enemy means for harm, God will use for good. What feels like a setback is often a setup for something greater. The struggles you face today are shaping you for the future He has prepared. So, don't give up in the middle of the trial. Don't let the hardship make you question God's calling. Instead, let it drive you deeper into His presence. Because when you come out on the other side, you'll see every trial had a purpose. Every challenge made you stronger. Every difficulty was part of God's preparation. And when that day comes, you'll look back and say, it was worth it. Because the calling of God is not just about where He's taking you, it's about who He's making you along the way. Stay the course. Trust the process. God is not done with you yet. When God calls you, something shifts inside. You begin to feel a hunger that wasn't there before, a longing for something deeper, something real, something holy. The things of this world, the distractions, the temporary pleasures that once satisfied you suddenly feel empty. You find yourself craving righteousness, desiring truth, longing for more of God. This is not by accident, it's a sign that God is calling you closer, pulling you out of the ordinary into something extraordinary. He is awakening your spirit, giving you eyes to see the things that truly matter. When the call of God is on your life, He won't let you stay the same. He begins to transform your heart. What once entertained you now troubles you. What once seemed normal now grieves you. The things that once filled your time now feel meaningless. Some of you have been feeling this lately, and you don't even understand why. You're losing interest in certain conversations, certain activities, certain relationships. It's not that you're becoming distant, it's that God is changing your appetite. He's calling you higher. He's drawing you away from what is temporary and into what is eternal. And the more you surrender to that calling, the stronger the hunger grows. But hear me, this hunger is not just a feeling, it's an invitation to seek Him like never before, to open His Word, to spend time in prayer, to pursue righteousness, not because you have to, but because your soul craves it. And as you respond, as you draw near to Him, something incredible happens. He fills you, He strengthens you, He begins to reveal things to you that you never saw before. Your perspective shifts. Your purpose becomes clearer. The closer you get to God, the more you realize that nothing else compares. But here's the danger. If you ignore this hunger, it fades. If you drown it out with distractions, if you push it aside, eventually your heart will harden, and the voice of God will feel distant. That's why you can't afford to wait. When God calls, when He stirs a hunger in your spirit, respond. Because that hunger is not just about you, it's about your calling. It's about the people God wants to reach through you. It's about the lives that will be changed when you fully surrender. So don't ignore the longing for righteousness. Don't resist the pull toward holiness. It's not a burden, it's a sign that God is calling you, setting you apart, preparing you for something greater. And when you say yes, when you step into that calling, you will find that nothing in this world can compare to the joy of walking in His will. One of the greatest confirmations that God is calling you is that others begin to see it before you do. You may still be questioning, still unsure, still wondering if you're really hearing from God, but then someone speaks a word that stops you in your tracks. They see something in you. They recognize what God is doing in your life. They confirm what you've been sensing in your spirit. This is not coincidence. This is how God works. Throughout history, when He called someone, He often sent people to confirm it. When David was chosen to be king, Samuel anointed him before he ever sat on the throne. When Paul was called, Ananias was sent to lay hands on him and affirm his mission. God speaks through others not because He needs their help, but because He knows that we sometimes struggle to believe what He's telling us. Some of you have had people tell you God is going to use you. I see something different in you. There's a calling on your life. And you dismissed it. You thought they must be mistaken. I don't see what they see. But listen to me. When people who are walking with God recognize His hand on your life, don't ignore it. It's not flattery. It's not random. It's a sign. But let me be clear. God will often use unexpected people to confirm your calling. It may not be the ones you expected. It may not even be people you're close to. Sometimes God will send someone you barely know, someone you least expect to speak a word into your life. And in that moment, you will know it's not them speaking, it's God. And here's another thing. You don't have to chase confirmation. If God has called you, He will make it clear. He will send the right voices at the right time to affirm what He has already placed in your heart. You don't have to ask for approval from everyone around you. You don't need the validation of the world. When God calls, He confirms. But here's the challenge. When people confirm your calling, what will you do? Will you embrace it? Will you step forward, or will you shrink back in fear, waiting for another sign, another moment of clarity? Because at some point, confirmation must turn into action. God doesn't reveal His calling just so you can step into it. So if you've heard the confirmation, if people have spoken life over you, if they have seen what God is doing in you, don't ignore it. Don't let doubt steal what God has already revealed. It's time to believe what He has spoken. It's time to step into what He has prepared, because when God confirms His call, He is also preparing you to walk in it. When God calls you, something unexpected begins to happen. Your spirit becomes restless where you are. What once felt comfortable no longer satisfies you. The places, the routines, even the people that once seemed to define your life start to feel temporary. It's not that you don't love them, not that you don't appreciate them, but deep down, you sense that God is calling you to something more. This restlessness isn't just boredom. It's not just a passing phase. It's a divine stirring, a holy discomfort. You feel it when you sit still for too long. You feel it when you try to return to the old routines, the old habits, the old distractions. None of it feels the same. Why? Because when God calls you, He won't let you settle where you are. He is pulling you out of the familiar into the unknown, out of complacency into purpose. Some of you have been feeling this lately, and you don't understand why. You keep asking yourself, why do I feel like I don't belong here anymore? Why do I feel like there's something more, something greater? That feeling is God's way of telling you that your season is changing. He is preparing you for a shift. He is getting ready to move you. But here's the danger. When this restlessness comes, you have two choices. You can ignore it, push it down, try to force yourself to stay where you are, or you can lean into it, seek God and ask Him, Lord, what are you saying? Where are you leading me? Because this restlessness is not meant to frustrate you. It's meant to position you. It's meant to get you ready for what's next. Look at Scripture. When God called Abraham, He didn't give him all the details. He simply said, go to the land I will show you. When He called the disciples, He didn't explain everything up front. He simply said, follow me. And that's exactly what He's doing with you. He is calling you into a season of faith, a season of trusting Him even when you don't have all the answers. But hear me, this restlessness is not a sign to run recklessly. It's not a sign to move without direction. It's a sign to press into God like never before, to seek Him in prayer, to wait on His timing, because when He calls, He doesn't just stir your heart, He also prepares the way. So don't ignore the restlessness. Don't drown it out with distractions. Lean into it. Let it drive you to your knees. Because what you're feeling isn't just a desire for change. It's a call to step into something greater. And if you listen, if you trust Him, He will take you where you were always meant to be. When God calls you, one of the strongest signs is that the things that used to tempt you begin to lose their grip. The desires that once controlled you, the sins that once enslaved you, the distractions that once consumed your time, suddenly they don't hold the same power. It's not that you become stronger, it's that God is drawing you closer. He is shifting your heart, changing your appetite, breaking chains that you didn't even realize were holding you back. Some of you have noticed this. The things you used to enjoy now feel empty. The conversations you used to engage in now feel meaningless. The habits that once seemed harmless now convict you in a way they never did before. And you might be wondering, what's happening to me? Why do I feel this way? Let me tell you. This is the power of God's calling. He is setting you apart. He is pulling you out of the world, not just physically, but spiritually. This is how God works. When He calls you, He doesn't just give you a new purpose, He gives you a new heart. He removes the old desires and replaces them with something greater. You begin to hunger for purity, for righteousness, for holiness. You find yourself wanting to please God more than you want to please people. And the things that once had control over you start to lose their grip. Not because you are striving, but because the presence of God is doing a deep work in you. But listen, this is not just about walking away from sin. It's about being prepared for where God is taking you. Because there are some things in your life that cannot go with you into your calling. Some habits, some relationships, some mindsets, they have to be left behind. And God, in His mercy, is making you aware of them now so that you can be free when it's time to step into what He has for you. Some of you are feeling this tug, but you're still holding on. You're still clinging to what God is trying to remove, and the longer you resist, the heavier the burden becomes. But hear me, you don't have to fight this battle alone. The same God who is calling you is also strengthening you. The same Spirit who is convicting you is also empowering you. He is not just showing you what needs to change, He is giving you the grace to walk away. So don't ignore this sign. Don't resist what God is doing. If He is pulling you away from something, it's because He has something better. If He is breaking chains, it's because He wants you free. If He is removing desires, it's because He is making room for something greater. Let go. Surrender. Step into the freedom He is offering. Because when God calls you, He doesn't just change your direction, He changes you. And when you embrace that change, you will discover that what He has for you is far greater than anything you ever thought you needed. When God calls you, another sign becomes unmistakable. You begin to feel an urgency, a deep sense that time is short, that what you do with your life truly matters. It's like a fire burning inside of you. A voice in your spirit telling you, now is the time. You can't wait any longer. This urgency is not fear, it's not anxiety, it's not pressure from the world, it's a holy stirring from God Himself. You start to see the world differently. You realize that people are lost, that souls are at stake, that life is not just about living for yourself, but about fulfilling the purpose God has placed in you. Some of you have been feeling this lately. You can't explain it, but something in you knows you were made for more. You were called for something greater, and yet there's a battle inside. Part of you is ready to run forward, but another part of you hesitates. You wonder if it's really God or if it's just your emotions. But let me tell you, when God places a burden on your heart, it is not by accident. That urgency is a sign. He is calling you to move, to act, to step into what He has prepared for you. But here's the challenge. Many people feel the urgency, but they ignore it. They keep waiting for a better time, a more convenient moment. They think, I'll do it later, when I'm more prepared, when I have everything figured out. But listen to me. Delayed obedience is disobedience. When God calls, the time is now. Not when you feel ready, not when you have all the answers, not when it makes sense to everyone around you. The time is now. Think about Noah. God told him to build the ark before the rain ever started. Think about Esther. She had to step forward before she knew how the king would respond. Think about the disciples. When Jesus called them, they didn't wait until it was convenient. They left everything and followed Him immediately. That same call is on your life. That same urgency is burning inside you. And if you ignore it, the enemy will try to fill your mind with excuses. He will try to convince you that there's no rush, that you can wait. But deep down, you know that's not true. Deep down, you know God is calling you to step out, to move, to trust Him completely. So what are you waiting for? The time is now. The calling is real. The urgency you feel is not an accident. It's a divine wake-up call. And if you answer, if you step forward, you will see that God has already gone before you. The doors are already opening. The path is already prepared. But you have to take the first step. Because when God calls, He doesn't call you to wait. He calls you to walk. And when you walk in obedience, you will see that the time you thought you needed was never the issue, because with God, the time is always right. When God calls you, He begins to open doors that no one can shut. Opportunities arise that you could never have created on your own. You find yourself in places you never expected, meeting people you never planned to meet, and stepping into situations that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. But it's not coincidence, it's divine orchestration. God's calling comes with His provision. If He is leading you somewhere, He will make a way. He will align the right connections, the right resources, and the right timing. You don't have to force it. You don't have to manipulate circumstances or chase after opportunities. When it's God, the door will open naturally. Some of you have seen this happen in your life. You've experienced moments where something just fell into place. An unexpected promotion, an invitation to speak, a divine appointment that changed everything. And you knew deep down, this wasn't me, this was God. But here's the challenge. When the door opens, will you walk through it? Many people miss their calling, not because God didn't open the door, but because they were too afraid to step through it. They hesitated, they doubted, they questioned whether they were really ready. But listen to me. God doesn't open doors just for you to admire them. He opens them for you to walk through. But here's the other side of this truth. When God opens doors, the enemy will try to distract you with counterfeit ones. Not every opportunity is from God. Not every open door is meant for you. That's why you must stay in prayer, stay in the Word, and stay sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Because when God calls you, He will lead you to the right doors. But you must have the discernment to recognize them. And here's how you know it's God. The door will not contradict His Word. It will not pull you away from Him. It will not require you to compromise your faith or your integrity. God's doors lead to purpose, not destruction. They bring peace, not confusion. They require faith, but they do not lead to regret. So if you feel God calling you, if you see Him opening doors, don't hesitate. Don't second guess what He has already confirmed. Walk forward in faith, because the doors He opens, no one can close. And when you step into His calling, you will see every open door was part of His perfect plan all along. When God calls you, you will face opposition. The enemy will not sit back and watch as you step into your purpose. He will fight you. He will try to discourage you, distract you, and make you doubt what God has spoken. The moment you decide to follow God's call, resistance comes. Some of you have already experienced this. You made up your mind to walk in obedience, and suddenly things got harder. The people you thought would support you started questioning you. Unexpected struggles arose. Temptations increased. Fear and doubt crept in. And you started wondering, if this is really God's calling, why am I facing so much resistance? Let me tell you why. Because the enemy attacks what he fears. He doesn't fight people who are doing nothing. He fights those who are a threat to his kingdom. The very fact that you're facing opposition is proof that God's hand is on you. If you weren't called, the enemy wouldn't care. But because you are called, he will try to stop you before you even begin. Look at Scripture. Every person God called faced opposition. Joseph was thrown into a pit before he reached the palace. Moses had to stand before Pharaoh before leading the Israelites to freedom. David had to face Goliath before he sat on the throne. Even Jesus was tempted in the wilderness before he stepped into his ministry. Calling always comes with a battle. But hear me, the battle is not to break you. It's to prepare you. God is using the opposition to strengthen your faith, to refine your character, to teach you how to trust Him completely. And if you stand firm, if you refuse to be shaken, you will see that what the enemy meant for harm, God will turn for good. So don't let the resistance make you doubt. Don't let the battle make you quit. The attacks, the struggles, the setbacks, They are all signs that you are walking in your call. And the enemy knows he cannot stop you unless you stop yourself. Stand firm, keep praying, keep moving forward, because the opposition is not a sign that you're going the wrong way. It's a confirmation that you're exactly where God wants you to be. And if you press through, if you keep your eyes on Him, nothing, no attack, no doubt, no fear can stop what God has already ordained for your life. When God calls you, it is not just an invitation, it is a command. It is not a suggestion, it is a divine assignment placed on your life before you were even born. The signs are there. You have felt the stirring in your heart. You have seen the confirmation. You have wrestled with the restlessness. You have sensed the urgency, and now the choice is yours. God is not calling you to a life of comfort. He is calling you to a life of purpose. He is not asking you to stay where it's safe. He is asking you to step out in faith, because this is not about you. This is about His kingdom. This is about the souls that need to hear the truth. This is about the lives that will be changed through your obedience. But listen to me. Delayed obedience is disobedience. Every excuse, every hesitation, every moment you wait is a moment lost. God is calling now, and if He is calling, He will equip you. If He is leading, He will provide. If He is sending, He will go before you. The doors are already opening. The way is already prepared, but you have to step out. Some of you have been waiting for another sign, another confirmation, another moment of clarity. But what more do you need? God has already spoken. The only thing left is for you to respond. So what will you do? Will you shrink back in fear? Will you wait for a perfect moment that will never come? Or will you rise up, step forward, and say, "Here I am, Lord, send me"? Because when you say yes to God, when you surrender to His call, you will see that everything you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to obey. The power is in your yes. The breakthrough is in your obedience. And if you trust Him, if you step into His calling, you will walk in a purpose greater than anything you could have ever imagined. The call has come. The choice is now. What will you do?